Imagine you turn up at work one day and you have a new boss. And that new boss is an AI. Issuing tasks, reviewing your outputs. This is not science fiction. This is an emerging reality. So AI has gone very quickly from being able to beat humans at chess to being able to write articles, to code software, and to make decisions. How long before our AI is making decisions for you? Or maybe even running a company? Well, if you're a driver for Uber or Lyft, it's already happened. My name's Gus Fraser. I've built many AI solutions. From a mental health therapist providing support to helping global organizations with AI strategy, governance, and implementation. I want to share what I've learned, and I want to share why this seismic shift is going to impact jobs across all industries, what I've learned from it, and demystify some of these terms that you may or may not have heard, like large language models, agents, and so on. First of all, how did we get here? Well, AI has actually been around for quite a long time, even though it's just making the waves in the headlines today. In the 50s, it was able to play drafts or checkers. In the 80s, we had something called expert systems, but all very rule-based, if this, then that. And in the 2010s, though, it was machine learning that ruled supreme. That's recommendations on Amazon or Netflix, or I'm sure we've all felt at one point that we've been targeted by some advertising where it might have been listening to us, when in fact it's just very smart, very refined machine learning algorithms. Fast forward to 2017, and I don't want to scare you off with technical terms, but I think it deserves a mention, the transformer neural network architecture. What that really means is context. Context in words, and means that words have meaning outside of just themselves. So just to spell that out, in a sentence, in a simplistic way, the chicken didn't cross the road because it was too tired. Machines now have the ability to understand what it means in that sentence. And that gives meaning to sentences, to paragraphs, to documents. The machines are starting to understand a lot more than they did before. And even subtle nuances like humor. Now, I was surprised when my mental health therapist decided that somebody talking to it was trying to be funny. Now, I don't know about you, but I've met some people that would struggle with that determination of whether someone is trying to be funny or not. But the machines are accurately able to manage this subtle nuance. And in this new era of generative AI, the machines are getting much, much smarter. So what's different about this wave of generative AI and this wave of technology? We've had technology waves before. We've had the PC, we've had telephones, mobile phones, smartphones. Well, if you pretend it's 1999, we're not talking about AI, we're talking about the internet. Ricky Martin is living La Vida Loca, and we've got David Bowie's being interviewed, and he says about the internet, he says, I think the potential of what the internet can do to society, both good and bad, is unimaginable. We're actually on the cusp of something exhilarating and terrifying. Now, at the time, Jeremy Paxman, who was interviewing him, said, well, isn't it just a tool, right? It's just a tool. And people are saying this today about AI. But let me tell you, the companies that thought it was just a tool that didn't adapt quickly enough are no longer around. Blockbuster is a prime example of that. So what I'm saying here is that AI is really going to have this pervasive impact on us. And why is that? The original AI, as it was developing, was really confined to labs, and it was confined to maybe specific use cases. But now we have this pervasive generative AI, which is going to touch all jobs, anything that uses a computer. And this is going to have a much wider impact on us all than a specific piece of AI. Now, what's happening in the workplace is that people are able to leverage what we might want to call an assistant that's got superpowers. Why would you not want to have an assistant that helps you be more productive? Of course you do. You want to have a greater output. So unfortunately, that does mean that jobs are going to evolve. But if we evolve with the technology, we will be better equipped to deal with this uncertain future. In Silicon Valley, there is a startup incubator called Y Combinator, most successful incubator that there is. They've invested in over 5,000 companies and many tech unicorns. They are not looking for companies with humans. They actually have a request for startups where those companies are what they call full stack AI. What that means is AI native. So I could be, as a technologist, I could build tools for example, for a law company. Or I could build a company that is AI centric, that actually delivers the same outputs as a law company, but using AI, so minimal humans. This is absolutely happening, and it's the future that we need to prepare for. That does mean that some people have some concerns about what is coming next, obviously. One of the ways that we can solve this is with AI literacy. Now, what do I mean by that? I feel that at the moment, if everybody is able to have a greater understanding of what is going on, we'll be much better equipped to deal with the future. My son was actually busted for using a bit too much ChatGPT in his schoolwork. So I went to the school and I spoke to them, and what I found out, 100% of students are using AI, but less than 50% of teachers. Now, that's no slight on the teachers, they've got a difficult job, but actually it's the same when I speak to businesses. 50% of people too busy, how are we supposed to keep on top of this rapidly moving field? It's a difficult job. And so what I discovered after going to speak to the schools was that there's just not nearly enough AI literacy across the island we are, but in general, people's understanding. And what I would suggest to you all, if you haven't done this before, is take your job description, if you have one, or write up what it is that you do, feed it into some AI, and ask it, is there anything you can help me with simply, reliably, effectively? You might be surprised. And then add to that, ask it, where is my profession going? Where is this going in the future? What do you think is going to happen to my job, my company? What does the future look like for me? And I think by learning and understanding the possible futures that are out there, we don't have a crystal ball, the future is uncertain. But by being better educated about the possibilities we have, we're going to be much better equipped to deal with that uncertain future. Now, you might have heard the term agents. As we start to build more sophisticated AI systems, agents are what you can call a fine-tuned specialist AI that can take action, that can carry out tasks. Imagine if AI had access to your inbox. Actually, it does already, we know this. But imagine if it's composing emails for you, drafting them so that you can decide to just press send instead of having to write them. It already does that. So, you can imagine that in the future, we're going to have AI is going to be able to act a little bit more for us on our behalf. The rise of AI concierges, booking restaurants, booking planes, booking travel, hotels, accommodation, the dentist, whatever you name it. Agents are going to have this capability in the future, and we're not quite prepared for that future yet. One of the key things that I would say to anybody concerned, and there are 25% of people responding to a YouGov survey in the UK, actually express concerns about job losses. Well, to them I would say adaptability. Unfortunately, my grandmother's no longer with us, but I wanted to just tell a short story about how she adapted. In her 80s, she was programming her sewing machine with her laptop. Google heard about this, invited her to the Google headquarters in Dublin, invited her on stage, and made a big fuss, as I think is quite right, to show that actually age is absolutely no barrier. When you have the motivation and the determination to learn something, you can. And so I would just say to anybody that is feeling a little bit lost or a little bit like it's too much for them, it isn't. It isn't too much. And in all of her 97 years, she had many technological barriers to overcome, from the mobile phone to the iPad to the internet. In fact, she used to be the first person commenting on my Facebook posts, which made me very happy. Now, with all that doom and gloom, there are loads of opportunities as well. A World Economic Forum was a report talking about all of the opportunities and the growth of jobs, particularly in the tech sector. Comes as no surprise, perhaps, that jobs in AI, machine learning, data science are booming right now. And guess what? these jobs pay pretty well. So, as an island, we have the opportunity to set some of those foundations. The great thing about technology and about AI is that we don't need to be blessed with a specific geographic climate or anything like that. We just need to set the foundations with education. Education is what's going to help us thrive. Now, imagine if we were able to equip our school leavers, our children, with a better level of AI literacy than any other jurisdiction. Even better than the average is going to help us do a lot better in future. Imagine if we had an efficient civil service that needed far less tax pounds to run it. What could we do with a surplus? Maybe the aging population would benefit from that. So AI has enormous amounts of potential for us, but not if we sit and do nothing about it. We must take action. We must try and elevate our understanding of it, the potential of it, and manage this together. And I feel it's on all of us. So I would say that when AI literacy is fundamental, I really mean that, and I'd urge you all to take something that you maybe don't like to do, or one part of your job, find out how to do it, how AI can help you to do it, and then share that message. Share how you're doing it with a friend, a colleague, a family member, and start sharing that network of education of AI amongst yourselves. There is no big program that's going to help us all. I think it's on each and every one of us to try and get up that learning curve and understand the impact of this. So in summary, it's on all of us. I hope that you all take something from this, learn a little bit more about AI, and share it. Please do that. Thank you.